What if the woman who destroyed your marriage knocked on your door at 2 a.m. holding a little boy who looks exactly like your ex-husband, and she says he needs your other kidney, and he already knows you're his real mother? That actually happened to me. The full title of this story is I Donated My Kidney to Save My Husband's Mistress. Years later, she showed up at my door with a baby and said something that flipped my whole world upside down. I'm Lisa, and this is my true story, full of pain, love, betrayal, and twists you won't see coming. If your heart is already racing, keep watching. If you love real-life stories that feel like movies, hit subscribe right now and turn on the bell. That way you won't miss part 2 when it drops. It was a stormy night, rain hitting my windows like tiny rocks. I had just fallen asleep in my quiet little house after a long day. Life was simple and lonely since the divorce 2 years ago. Just me, my cat, and the memories I tried to forget. Then came the knocking, loud, desperate, at 2 a.m. My heart started pounding so hard I could hear it in my ears. I grabbed my old robe and walked to the door, scared but curious. "Who is it?" I called out, voice shaking. A woman answered, "Lisa, it's Rachel. Please open the door. It's life or death." Rachel? The woman my husband Mark cheated with? The one who smiled in my face while sleeping with him behind my back? Anger rushed through me like fire, but something in her voice sounded broken, so I cracked the door open. Cold wind and rain blew in. There she stood, soaked, hair stuck to her face, eyes red from crying. In her arms was a 3-year-old boy wrapped in a wet blanket. When the blanket slipped, I gasped. He had Mark's curly brown hair, Mark's nose, Mark's exact smile. It felt like seeing a ghost. I stepped back. "What do you want, Rachel? Haven't you taken enough?" She walked inside without asking, sat on my couch, and gently set the boy down. He looked up at me with those big, innocent eyes. Rachel's hands were shaking. "Lisa, this is Tommy. He's Mark's son. Mark passed away last year from a heart attack. Tommy is dying. The doctors say he has kidney failure. Without a transplant in the next 2 days, he won't make it." My mouth went dry. "Why come to me? Go ask Mark's family." She took a deep breath, tears rolling down her cheeks. "Because you're the only match left. You donated your kidney to me 3 years ago, and now Tommy needs your other one. And the craziest part? He already knows you're his real mother. He talks about Mama Lisa every single night." I felt the room spin. My legs got weak, and I had to grab the wall. Real mother? I never had a baby. I never even got pregnant during my whole marriage. Tears burned my eyes. All the hurt from the past came crashing back like a wave. Let me take you back so you understand. 3 years ago, Mark and I had been married 7 happy years. We laughed every day, planned our future, talked about kids. Then one Tuesday, I came home early with flowers to surprise him. Instead, I found him in our bed with Rachel. My heart shattered. I screamed, I cried, I wanted to die right there. Mark begged on his knees. "It was a mistake. I love you." A few weeks later, he came again, crying harder. "Rachel is dying, Lisa. Kidney failure. She only has weeks left. You're a perfect match. The doctors checked. Please save her. For me." I hated her. I hated him. But I still loved him so much it hurt. The thought of Mark losing her and being destroyed, I couldn't take it. So I went to the hospital in secret. No one knew. The tests confirmed I was a match. On surgery day, I lay on that cold table, scared to death. What if something goes wrong, I thought, but I closed my eyes and pictured Mark's smile. When I woke, pain burned in my side like fire, tubes everywhere. I stayed in the hospital alone for days. Mark visited once, hugged me tight, and whispered, "You're my hero." Then he left to be with her. I recovered in a cheap hotel room eating soup from cans, crying every night because I felt so empty and used. After that, our marriage slowly died. We divorced. He chose her. I moved away and tried to heal. Now, back in my living room, Rachel looked at me with desperate eyes. "There's more to the story, Lisa, much more. It started the day you donated." Little Tommy stood up on shaky legs, walked over and tugged my hand. In the softest voice, he said, "Mama?" My heart melted and broke at the exact same time. A warm feeling I never knew rushed through me, mixed with total confusion and fear. How did this child know me? What secret was Rachel hiding about that donation day? Was Tommy really part of me somehow? I had no idea the biggest shock of my life was just beginning. I stared down at little Tommy. His big brown eyes were shiny with tears, but he wasn't crying. He just kept looking at me like I was the only safe thing in the whole world. My throat felt tight. I couldn't speak. Rachel wiped her face with her wet sleeve. "Lisa, please, the doctors gave him 48 hours, maybe less. You're his last chance." I finally found my voice. "How does he know me? I've never met him, never even seen a picture." She looked down at the floor like she was ashamed. "He's been dreaming about you every night since he could talk. He draws pictures of a lady with long brown hair like yours, holding him. He calls her Mama Lisa. Mark used to tell him stories, but he never said your name was his mom, not out loud." My head was spinning. Mark told him stories about me? After everything? Rachel nodded slowly. "Mark changed after you left. He was sorry, really sorry. He talked about you all the time when Tommy was a baby, said you were the kindest person he ever knew, that you saved a woman's life even when she didn't deserve it." I felt hot tears on my cheeks. I didn't want to cry in front of her. Not her. "Get out," I whispered. "Both of you, just go." Rachel stood up fast. "Lisa, wait." "No, you took my husband, you took my marriage. Now you want my other kidney too? For his kid with you? No, I'm done." She started crying harder. "It's not like that. There's something you don't know, something Mark made me promise never to tell you." I crossed my arms. "Then why are you here telling me now?" "Because he's dying," she almost screamed. Then she covered her mouth, scared she woke the boy. Tommy hid behind her leg, peeking at me. Rachel took a shaky breath. "The day you donated your kidney, it wasn't just for me." I frowned. "What are you talking about?" She reached into her coat pocket and pulled out a small, folded piece of paper. It looked old, edges worn. She handed it to me. I opened it. It was a hospital form, dated the same day as my surgery 3 years ago. But it wasn't just about the kidney donation. There was another section circled in red pen. "Egg retrieval and cryopreservation. Patient Lisa Thompson. Authorized by Mark Thompson, spouse." My hands started shaking so bad the paper rattled. Egg retrieval? I looked up at Rachel. "I never signed this. I never agreed to this." She swallowed hard. "You were under anesthesia. Mark signed for you. He told the doctors it was emergency family consent. They took eggs while they were already working on your kidney." The room felt like it was closing in. My ears rang. "Why?" Rachel's voice dropped to a whisper. "Because I couldn't have kids. Ever. Mark wanted a baby so bad. He said if I got better, we could start a family, but he didn't want to wait. He wanted our baby using your eggs because you were healthy, because you were you." I felt sick. My stomach twisted. "So Tommy? He's—" Rachel nodded, tears falling fast now. "He's biologically yours, Lisa. Your egg. Mark's sperm. I carried him. I gave birth to him. But he's your son." I dropped to my knees. The floor was cold. Tommy ran over and wrapped his tiny arms around my neck. "Mama okay?" he asked in the sweetest voice. I couldn't breathe. All those nights I cried myself to sleep, thinking I'd never be a mom. All the doctor visits where they told me my chances were low after the surgery stress. And the whole time, I already had a son who was dying, a son who needed me. I looked at Rachel through blurry eyes. "Why didn't you tell me sooner?" She knelt down too. "Mark begged me not to. He said you'd hate him forever, that you'd never forgive us. And after he died, I was scared you'd take Tommy away. But now I'm more scared he'll die." Tommy patted my cheek. "Don't cry, Mama. Tommy here." My heart broke into a million pieces and somehow felt full at the same time. I pulled him close. He smelled like rain and baby shampoo. I looked at Rachel. "Take me to the hospital, right now." She nodded, relief flooding her face. As we walked out into the storm, Tommy holding my hand tight, I felt something shift inside me. Fear, anger, love, all mixed together. But one thing was crystal clear. If this little boy was mine, I would give him everything, even if it cost me my last kidney, even if it cost me my life. But what I didn't know yet was that the hospital had one more secret waiting for me, one that would change everything again. The car ride to the hospital felt like a bad dream. Rain slammed the windshield so hard the wipers could barely keep up. Tommy sat in the back booster seat, clutching a little stuffed bear. Every few minutes, he'd reach forward and touch my shoulder, like he was making sure I was real. "Mama, stay?" he asked in his soft voice. I swallowed the lump in my throat. "Yeah, baby, Mama's staying." Rachel kept glancing at me in the rearview mirror. Her eyes were puffy, scared. "They're waiting for us. The transplant team already has your old records. They ran your blood type again last week when Tommy got worse. You're still a perfect match." I stared out the window at the blurry streetlights. "Did Mark ever think about telling me? Even once?" She sighed. "He talked about it 100 times. Every time he chickened out, said you'd hate him more than you already did, that you'd fight for custody and rip Tommy away from me." I laughed, but it came out better. He was right about one thing. I hate him right now, more than ever. We pulled into the emergency entrance. Nurses rushed out with a wheelchair. They helped Tommy first. He looked so small against the bright hospital lights. A doctor in blue scrubs met us at the door. "Mrs. Thompson," he said, looking right at me. "It's just Lisa now," I told him. "Divorced." He nodded quickly. "We need to get you both upstairs. Time is critical. Tommy's kidneys are failing fast. We've prepped OR4 just in case you agree to donate." They wheeled Tommy away for tests. I followed, holding his hand the whole way. He kept whispering, "Mama strong, like superhero." It broke me. How did this little boy already love me so much? In the waiting area, Rachel sat next to me. She looked like she hadn't slept in days. "There's one more thing," she said quietly. I turned to her. "What now? More secrets?" She pulled out her phone. "Mark recorded this the night before he died. He made me promise to show you only if Tommy needed you like this." She hit play. Mark's voice filled the quiet room. Weak, raspy, but still so familiar it hurt. "Lisa, if you're hearing this, I'm gone, and I'm so damn sorry. I stole something from you no one can ever give back. Your chance to know your own child. I was selfish, scared, stupid. But Tommy, he's the best thing I ever did, and he's half you, the best half. If he needs you, please don't punish him for my mistakes. He calls you Mama already. In his heart, you've always been there. I love you. I never stopped. Forgive me, if you can." The message ended. Silence. Tears streamed down my face. I wiped them fast. He doesn't get to say sorry now, not after everything. Rachel touched my arm. "He knew he was dying. He wanted you to have this, to know Tommy was never just mine." A nurse came back. "Lisa, we need you in pre-op. Quick blood draw, final cross match. Tommy's asking for you." I stood up on shaky legs. "I'm going." They took me to a small room, drew blood, hooked me to monitors. Tommy was in the next bed over, hooked to machines that beeped slow and steady. He smiled when he saw me. "Mama give kidney?" he asked. I leaned over and kissed his forehead. "Yeah, sweetheart, Mama's giving you whatever you need." The doctor came in with papers. "We're ready when you are, but there's something else in your file from 3 years ago." My stomach dropped. "What now?" He flipped a page. "During your egg retrieval, we actually retrieved and froze 12 viable eggs. Only one was used for Tommy. The rest are still here, in storage, under your name." I stared at him. "My eggs still here?" He nodded. You were listed as the primary decision maker. Not him, not Rachel. You. Legally, they're yours. Rachel gasped. He never told me that. I felt dizzy. 12 little pieces of me, waiting. Possible brothers and sisters for Tommy. A whole future I never knew existed. The doctor looked serious. We can proceed with the transplant, but after, you'll have decisions to make. Big ones. Tommy reached for my hand. Mama, no scared. Tommy, protect Mama, too. I squeezed his fingers. Tears fell on the sheet. I'm not scared anymore, baby. But deep down, I was terrified. Not of the surgery, of what came after. Because if I saved Tommy today, what would happen when Mark's family found out about the eggs, about me being the biological mother? Would they fight me for him? Would they try to take my son away? Or worse, would they come for the rest of my eggs? The anesthesiologist walked in. Time to go, Lisa. I looked at Tommy one last time. I love you, I whispered. He smiled big. Love you, Mama. See you soon. They wheeled me away. As the mask went over my face and everything faded to black, one thought burned bright. This wasn't just about saving a kidney anymore. This was about saving my family, the family I never knew I had, and the fight was just beginning. I woke up slow, throat dry like sandpaper, side burning like someone lit a match under my ribs. The room was dim, machines beeping soft and steady. First thing I saw was Tommy's little face right next to mine. He was curled up in a hospital chair they'd pushed close to my bed. His hand was on my arm, tiny fingers wrapped around my wrist like he was afraid I'd disappear. Mama, awake, he whispered, eyes big and shiny. Tommy, wait for you. I tried to smile, but it hurt. Hey, superhero, did it work? He nodded fast. Doctors say new kidney happy. Tommy feel better already. Tears stung my eyes. Relief hit me so hard I almost couldn't breathe. I reached out, slow, careful, and touched his cheek. Warm, alive, mine. Rachel was there too, sitting on the other side. She looked like she'd aged 10 years in one night. The surgery went perfect, she said quietly. Both of you are stable. They're monitoring Tommy's rejection risk, but it's good, Lisa, really good. I nodded, too tired to fight. Thank you for bringing him to me. She looked surprised, then she started crying again, soft, silent tears. I thought you'd hate me forever. I did, I admitted. Part of me still does, but hating you won't bring Mark back, and it won't help Tommy. We sat quiet for a minute, just the beeps and Tommy's little breaths. Then the door opened. 2 people walked in, a tall man in a sharp suit and an older woman with tight lips and expensive pearls. I recognized her instantly, Mark's mother, Evelyn. The man had to be a lawyer. Evelyn's eyes went straight to Tommy, then to me, cold, hard. Well, she said, voice like ice. Looks like the hero woke up. Rachel stood up fast. What are you doing here? Evelyn ignored her. She stepped closer to the bed. We heard about the transplant, and we heard about the situation with the eggs. My stomach twisted. How? The lawyer cleared his throat. Hospital policy. When a biological parent is identified in an emergency procedure involving a minor, next of kin are notified. Mark listed us as Tommy's guardians in his will. I felt the air leave the room. Guardians? Tommy's been with Rachel. Evelyn smiled, thin, no warmth. Rachel was the surrogate, not the mother. Legally, the child belongs to Mark's bloodline, and now that you've donated again, we're prepared to file for full custody. Rachel gasped. You can't do that. The lawyer pulled out papers. We already have. Temporary emergency custody petition, filed this morning. The court will decide who Tommy lives with permanently. Tommy whimpered and climbed onto my bed, burying his face in my neck. No go, stay with Mama. I held him tight, even though every move pulled at my stitches. Pain shot through me, but I didn't care. I'm not taking him, I said, voice low and steady. He's my son. Biologically. Legally, those eggs were mine. Mark stole them. The hospital has records." Evelyn laughed, short, mean. "Records can be challenged. You were unconscious. You never consented. We'll argue coercion, undue influence, whatever it takes. And let's be honest, dear, a single woman recovering from major surgery, living alone, you really think a judge will pick you over a stable, wealthy family?" Rachel stepped forward. "I carried him. I raised him. He's my mom too." Evelyn looked at her like dirt. "You were paid help, nothing more." The lawyer handed me the papers. "You have 48 hours to respond before the hearing. We'll be in touch." They left. Door clicked shut. The room felt smaller, colder. Tommy was shaking. "Mama, they take Tommy?" I kissed the top of his head. "No, baby, nobody's taking you, I promise." But inside, fear clawed at me. I had no lawyer, no money for a big fight, just scars, a new kidney gone, and 11 frozen possibilities I didn't even know what to do with. Rachel sat down hard. "What do we do?" I looked at Tommy, my son, then at the papers in my hand. "We fight," I said. "We fight like hell." Later that night, after Tommy fell asleep against my chest, I stared at the ceiling. One thought kept repeating. If Mark was still alive, would he let this happen? Or would he finally stand up for the family he broke? I reached for my phone, opened my messages, found an old thread with Mark, the last one before the divorce. I typed 3 words I never thought I'd send to a dead man. "I forgive you." Then I hit send. Silly, maybe, but it felt right, because forgiveness wasn't for him anymore. It was for me, for Tommy, and for whatever came next in this courtroom war. But what I didn't know yet was that Mark had left one last letter, one last secret, hidden in the hospital safe, addressed to me. And when they opened it the next morning, everything flipped again. 6 months later. Spring had come to our little street. Flowers pushed up through the cracks in the sidewalk like they refused to stay hidden. Tommy was 4.5 now, taller, louder, full of questions that never stopped. "Mama, why do stars hide in the day? Mama, can we get a puppy that loves pancakes? Mama, will you always be my mama?" That last one stopped me every time. I'd kneel down, look right in his eyes, Mark's eyes, my smile, and say, "Always, baby, longer than forever." Rachel had moved into the spare room, not as a guest anymore, as family. She taught Tommy how to plant seeds in the backyard. We laughed over burnt dinners and inside jokes. The 3 of us built something stronger than blood. We built trust. One sunny Saturday, I got a call from the hospital. The nurse's voice was gentle. "Lisa, we're doing our annual cryo inventory. Your eggs are still here. Just checking. Any change in your plans?" I looked out the window. Tommy was chasing bubbles Rachel blew. He laughed so hard he fell on the grass, rolling like a puppy. "No change," I told her. "Not yet. But thank you for keeping them safe." I hung up, walked outside, sat on the porch steps. Tommy ran over, sweaty and happy, and climbed into my lap. "Mama, sad?" I shook my head. "Mama's happy, really happy." He put his small hands on my cheeks. "Good. Tommy no like sad, Mama." I kissed his forehead. "Tommy makes Mama the happiest." That night, after bedtime stories and extra hugs, I sat at the kitchen table with a cup of tea that had gone cold. Rachel joined me. She looked at me for a long minute. "You thinking about the eggs again?" "Yeah," I admitted, not rushing, just wondering what my heart will say when the time feels right. She reached across the table and squeezed my hand. "Whatever you choose, we've got you, both of us." I smiled through sudden tears. "I know." And in that quiet moment, I finally let the last pieces fall into place. Mark's betrayal had broken me once. The secrets had torn me apart. The fear of losing Tommy had almost crushed me. But look what came from the wreckage. A son who chose me every day. A friend who became sister. A home full of noise and love and second chances. I didn't need more eggs to feel complete. I already was. Tommy taught me that. The next morning, we went to the park. Tommy ran ahead, arms wide like he could hug the whole sky. Rachel walked beside me. "You okay?" I nodded. "Better than okay." We watched Tommy spin in circles until he got dizzy and flopped on the grass, giggling. I whispered to the breeze, to Mark maybe, wherever he was, "Thank you for the pain. Thank you for the gift. Thank you for letting me become the mom I was always meant to be." Then I ran to my boy, picked him up, swung him around until we both laughed so hard we couldn't breathe. Because that's the end of the story. Not a courtroom, not a hospital, not even forgiveness. Just love. Everyday, stubborn, beautiful love. The kind that knocks at 2 a.m., the kind that fights, the kind that stays, and the kind that wins. This story is entirely fictional, created for entertainment, drama, and emotional storytelling. Any resemblance to real people or events is purely coincidental. It's scripted to feel real because the best stories always do. A huge thank you to YouTube and the amazing YouTube team for giving creators a place to share stories like this. Thank you for the platform, the community, and every single view, like, comment, and share that keeps these tales going. You make the magic possible. If this moved you, drop a heart in the comments. Tell me which part hit you hardest. And remember, sometimes the family we end up with is even more beautiful than the one we planned. Until the next story, take care of your heart. It's the bravest thing you own.